Who remembers Tyson Chandler, the second overall pick in 2001, who was so underwhelming for the first 5 years of his career, he was considered a bust? I mean, come on, second overall pick? You're supposed to be a solid contributor right away. But not Chandler. He was just there. But then something happened. He went to New Orleans and found his role. He became a defensive anchor and a valuable contributor to his team. And in 2011, he became a champion with the Mavericks, an all-star in 2013 with the Knicks, and received multiple all-defensive team awards. Tyson Chandler is the perfect example of a player who revived his career. Now let's talk about two other players in the current NBA who are doing the same thing, Aaron Gordon and Andrew Wiggins. These two cats were once considered busts, but now they're balling out. So what took them so long? And what made them struggle when they first came in? So the first thing I got to say about Gordon and Wiggins is that they got drafted to some trash teams, teams that were tanking and losing so bad. When you get drafted to a team like that, especially the Timberwolves or the Magic, who back then had the front office of a dumpster fire, it's pretty much a setup for failure. And that's exactly what happened to these two young fellas. Gordon always had the talent, though. He showed flashes of it in Orlando, but he was mostly known for his dunk contest performances.
Might be Alfred Payton in that mascot.
No one really watched him and his team play, except for maybe his grandma and a few diehard Magic fans. The problem with Gordon was that he didn't know what kind of player he wanted to be. He was the number 4 pick of the 2014 NBA draft, and he had all the potential in the world. He was physically gifted, with speed and agility faster than some NBA guards, and leaping ability that was through the roof. But the Magic tried to turn him into something he wasn't. They tried to make him a playmaker, but that wasn't his play style. They asked him to do too much, and he wanted to do too much. He was even put into the role of a point forward. The Magic were experimenting with Aaron Gordon like he was some kind of science project. They were trying to create the perfect basketball player, but they ended up creating a Frankenstein monster. I mean, imagine you're Aaron Gordon. You're a 6'8" freak athlete, muscular frame at 235 pounds with hops that would make Michael Jordan blush. But your coaches are telling you to play point forward. You're supposed to be bringing the ball up the court and setting up your teammates for open shots. But that's not what he's good at, but he wants to be the star of the show. So he starts trying to do too much. He's dribbling too much, he's forcing shots, and he's turning the ball over. He's not setting up his teammates, and he's not playing defense. And of course, the Magic are losing. It's a whole mess. It's like watching a train wreck. We've all seen Aaron Gordon's athleticism in the dunk contest. He's like a human highlight reel. He's got hops for days. But can he use his physical tools to be a successful player in actual games? In his early days in Orlando, that didn't seem to be the case, but the biggest problem was Gordon's shot selection. He thought he was Kobe Bryant, but he couldn't shoot like Kobe Bryant. He was taking all these mid-range jumpers and fadeaways, but he wasn't making them. So Gordon was struggling on the court, and the fans were getting frustrated. They were starting to think that he was just a dunker and nothing more. Aaron Gordon's stats ain't that bad on paper, but they don't tell the whole story. In Orlando, he was averaging 12.9 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 2.9 assists, but he was shooting poorly for his position at 46%. Now that he's in Denver, he's flipped the script. He's taking more shots at the rim, and he's hitting them at a much higher rate. As a result, he's having the best efficiency of his career. He's averaging 16.3 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 3 assists, and he's shooting 56% from the field and 35% from 3. Here's the thing. Aaron Gordon has always been capable of playing like this. He's a big athletic dude with mad skills.
Aaron Gordon is on that short list for one of the last couple of all-star spots in the Western Conference. He's been that good, 17 a game on almost 60% shooting and all defense level defense.
But in the past, he wanted to expand his game beyond what he could do. He just needed to focus on what he does best, and it paid off. Aaron Gordon used to be like a lot of young basketball players. He thought he was LeBron James. He wanted to do everything himself, even if it meant forcing up shots or driving into multiple defenders. But Gordon finally realized that he wasn't LeBron, and that's okay. Now Gordon has a new identity as a rim runner, a slasher, and a finisher who plays off the Nuggets' other stars. He's also become a better defender, utilizing his size and strength to slow down opposing players. Gordon is never going to be the man on the team, but he's a perfect third option. He's like the third wheel on a date. He's tagging along because he's reliable and dependable. So the Nuggets have been trying to win a championship for a long time. They got Jokic, who's a beast, But they needed some help after Murray and Porter went down with injuries. So they traded for Aaron Gordon. Now, Gordon is not exactly a superstar. He's like a solid B-plus player. But the Nuggets were desperate, so they signed him to a 4-year, $92 million contract. That's a lot of money for a B-plus player. But it turned out to be a good investment. Gordon helped the Nuggets win their first championship in 2023. He even locked down LeBron James in the conference finals and Jimmy Butler in the finals. Now we got Andrew Wiggins. He was supposed to be the next Michael Jordan, the next LeBron James, the next superstar. But when he got to the NBA, he was just whatever. He averaged over 23 points a game at the age of 21, which is pretty good. But for someone who was supposed to be the savior of the Minnesota Timberwolves, it was a bit underwhelming. I mean, this guy was being compared to Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter. He was supposed to be the greatest Canadian basketball player of all time. But instead, he's more like R.J. Barrett, another Canadian with high expectations who puts up decent stats but doesn't really do anything special. These two had the highest expectations given to a Canadian basketball player, but it's looking like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the one carrying the torch. His defensive plays and shot selection was so frustrating to watch. It was like watching a baby try to eat without making a mess. In 6 seasons with the Wolves, he averaged 19.7 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per game on 44.7% shooting. Not bad, but it didn't translate to wins. Wiggins used to take a lot of long mid-range jumpers during his days in Minnesota. A huge amount of his shots were long twos in his first couple years. Once he got to the Warriors, he drastically reduced his shots from there. It wasn't just his shot selection and poor efficiency either. Wiggins' defensive effort was so bad, it was like he was trying to guard players with his eyes closed. He was constantly getting blown by and he didn't seem to care. For years after the Kevin Garnett era, the Wolves were like a lost puppy in the fog. They had no idea where they were going or what they were doing.
Now let's get into the drama because Jimmy Butler, his first practice with the T-Wolves, let's just say it wasn't great.
Tibbs was the one who wanted him back in practice. He got him. Clearly wasn't quite what he bargained for.
You were loud, emotional, passionate, we like to say, targeting Coach Tom Thibodeau, teammates like Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, that you told GM Scott Layton, you effing need me.
Wiggins and Towns were supposed to be the future, but Wiggins' career plateaued like a Kardashian's butt. He started to decline around the time he should have been in his prime. So Andrew Wiggins joins the Warriors. Now, this is during a season when the Warriors are so banged up they're losing even with him. But Wiggins sees this as an opportunity. He figured if he's going to be taking all these long twos, he might as well take threes instead. Now, Wiggins was an average three-point shooter in Minnesota, but it wasn't exactly his strong suit. But Steve Kerr told him he wanted him to work on his three-point shot. Those are the shots he's going to be open for when Curry and Klay are taking all the attention. So Wiggins starts working on his three-point shot. And he's working hard. He's even shooting in his sleep. And it pays off because Wiggins becomes a three-point assassin. He has a lot of space to shoot now that he's on the Golden State Warriors. That's the thing about going from a bad team to a good team. It's like going from dating a worn-down stripper to dating a sexy supermodel. Wiggins was so used to trying to be the man on the Minnesota Timberwolves that he forgot how to play with other people. He would just dribble the ball until someone got open, and then he would miss a shot. But now that he's on the Warriors, he doesn't have to do that anymore. He can just stand in the corner and wait for Steph Curry to find him or cut to the basket. It's no wonder Wiggins made the All-Star team last year. He was playing on easy mode, but let's be real. He's good, but not an all-star starter type of good. He was just on the right team at the right time. Andrew Wiggins has come a long way since his days with the Timberwolves. As a Warrior, he's averaging 17.8 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 2.4 assists while shooting 47% from the field and 38% from three. But Wiggins has proved everyone wrong. He's become a legitimate threat from three-point range, and he's even improved his defense and became an elite on-ball defender. Remember when the Warriors won the championship in 2022? Remember Wiggs over here? He was the best one-on-one defender on the team. In the finals, he was the primary defender on Jason Tatum and held him to the worst playoff series of his life. He made it look like Tatum was playing against his dad.
What happened with Jason Tatum is what he did to Kevin Durant in the first round. He got punked. Andrew Wiggins snatched his soul in this series.
In fact, Wiggins was the team's second best player throughout the series. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't see that coming. Probably not even the Warriors saw that coming. The following offseason, they gave him a 4-year, $110 million deal shortly after they won the title. He got that contract even before Draymond Green got his extension. The Warriors know what's up. They know that Wiggs is more important to the team now, and he's much younger. Aaron Gordon and Andrew Wiggins were once busts, not completely, but they were underachieving compared to what they're capable of. Did you know that Dwight Howard, despite his accomplishments, has been blacklisted from the NBA? Check out this video to see what happened to him.